So I quickly developed interest for this Q&A video, so I figured let's actually just do it in two because I don't have everything done right now. I still have this one huge question that I want to take a lot more time to answer because I want to make sure I say it right. Because yes, the part 2 of this Q&A video is going to be huge. But first, let's start with some of the simpler questions. For example, Alex119098, please don't make me recognize numbers like that, writes, are you a dog person or a cat person? And here's what I've come up with. Because it's hard for me to say. As I'd like to say cat, but I'm allergic to cats. And living with one would actually be pretty annoying. I mean, dogs can be loud at times, but I could get used to it, and this is kind of ironic considering how loud I can be at times. And the idea of teaching your dog tricks sounds very fun. But still, I find cats are cute and cat girls to be even cuter, if you know what I mean. So I'd say cats, even though I'm not the kind of person to look after a pet or a family. I mainly just look out for myself, because I feel like that's all I need. Sacred Grove said that I was pronouncing his name wrong on numerous occasions. It might be Sacred Grove, I'm not 100% sure, but let's just say... Okay, so he asks, what got you into Castlevania speedrunning? Oh, it's real simple, I just chose the game that I like the most. Or one of the games that I like the most. I played Dracula's Curse since I was like 7 or 8 years old at my grandma's house. I loved the game ever since I picked it up. I never beat it. First I got was Block A until the NES stopped working entirely. Then only like 7, 8 years later I got an emulator and then finished the game then and then eventually got into speedrunning it. That started almost last year. Plus, I wanted a challenge for myself. And I thought, hey, speedrunning is pretty cool. I've seen some pretty cool speedrunning videos. This looks like fun. I never thought I'd get as close to the world record as I did, but here we are. 30 and 49. What was your biggest screw-up in your Castlevania speedruns? Okay, I actually have 3 in mind that are almost equally big, but obviously the biggest screw-up would be that I was 10 seconds ahead, and that I was easily going at a 30:52 pace, and then I mistimed the first 2 pendulum jumps in the clockwork room right before Dracula. We're so close right now, I can already feel it. Oh no. Should've just played it safe there. I wish. I was hoping to make the leftmost pendulum appear sooner, but not too soon, because otherwise I would not be able to make that jump. I messed up the trick, sort of messed up one of my jumps because I made myself really nervous there, because I felt like I made the pendulums on the far left spawn too early, so I beefed the jump and then lost the run. The trick is to count 5 blocks starting from your left. Oh, and then I died at Dracula at an easy sub-31 pace. It would have been very close. I also sort of messed up stage A at the beginning because I was nervous I was going to kill the bird and get a bad drop. If that would have happened, that would have shut me down. Holy shit. Oh my god, I hope I don't run out of axes. If one of these misses, I'm fucked. I can't even believe how much I'm shaking right now. Oh my god, oh my god. No! I think I lost it. I think I lost it. I think I just lost it. I think I just lost the run. And then there's one of my older speedruns where I glitch out the game just after a boss fight in stage 5. Making the game pretty much unwinnable. Well, no, it was actually still winnable. If you're speedrunning and you get caught in a situation like that where you have to wait 4 minutes just for the timer to run out, you might as well reset. Now, I know I gotta be ducking the whole time, otherwise these rocks will actually still hit me. If you're ducking, you can take the opportunity to just use this as a safe spot. It worked. Oh, shit. What?! 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 You gotta be fucking kidding me! Dude! also asked, what's your favorite Super Mario World hack of all time? I would say that it's a toss-up between Rise of the Challenge and Jump. Even though both have lopsided difficulty curves, I mean, World 1 and Rise of the Challenge is probably one of the toughest things in that whole hack. World 7's the peak. World 8 is significantly less difficult than World 7. And both are too difficult for the average player, I can imagine. Like, just imagine the average JoJo going up against some of Morsel's levels. See how long he lasts. But both serve as excellent challenges for the hardcore player. And once you get past the difficulty, oh, these are really fun to play. While Rise of the Challenge also proves that Axum Jinx is a really good music composer and a generally good game designer, and that you do not need all this fancy ASM and custom resources to make a good hack at all. Jump set new creative standards for Super Mario World hacking, period, and not to mention there will always be the legendary Gundam boss. If you can make it to it, that is. So I guess I just prefer good level design in general then. What got you into ROM hacking? This was back in 2008 when I was looking at another alternative to the open source Secret Mario Chronicles, which had a built-in level editor that I used a lot. I mean, at the time, this was awesome. It still is. And now it's called The Secret Chronicles of Dr. M. They were a Super Mario World clone, and then a few of the developers took over the project after the founder lost interest, and since then, it's been becoming its own standalone game. Pretty much drifting from Nintendo's intellectual property, though it still feels like a Mario game. And I saw several custom levels from Super Mario World hacks that were pretty cool, and of course, many Proton John Let's Plays. I mean, I've stated this quite a few times that Proton John brought me into Super Mario World hacking in the first place. Particularly his over-the-top reactions to dying at the end of Stage 2 in Kaizo Mario 1. Well, actually, the Stage 2 in the Special World, I forgot to say. And just Mario's Wacky Worlds. A hack I probably wouldn't want to play because how weird it is. My earliest intentions back then were to make a cool ROM hack and send it to him and impress him and then just... Because he sounds like a really cool guy. He'd play anything. But I figured out he retired as I was finishing Hand of Chaos. And ROM hacking for me pretty much came to a near standstill until 2012. Is Iggy and Unova still the worst hack you've Let's Played? No, because Hammer Brother Demo 3 will always exist. Sure, Iggy and Unova was pretty damn fucking awful. To quote the author, he said it was an unfinished beta with only the custom music to show off. However, this never answered the all-important question as to why it was ever submitted on Super Mario World Central. Hammer Brothers always going to be infamous for abusing invisible coin blocks, and the ratchet scrolling, quite possibly being even worse than that, and just being very poorly built overall in pretty much every aspect, like the broken music. And also having graphics so bad you could say that they're Chris Chan level. And just generally awful levels, the worst ones being gimmick-based like, oh god, Gravity Bond. Nambona890. Yes, he still hangs around here. And he asked me my opinion on quote-unquote pit hacks. Yes, these are hacks that are intentionally designed to be so difficult that you pretty much have to use tools. They look awesome when tool-assisted speedruns of them are constructed and played back, but these are the kinds of hacks that you pretty much need to use multiple different kinds of tools, such as save states, rewinding, slowing down, tools that let you calculate exact frames for frame perfect tricks like wall jumping in the Super Mario World, because it's not just limited to doing off of custom blocks, you know. In fact, I can't really say much about pit hacks. I only ever tried one of the item abuses and never got past the first screen, not too surprising. And my mind is still blown as to how the tool-assisted speedruns are constructed, and even more so by the fact that these hacks actually exist and had to be built in the first place. Because yes, someone needed to verify that everything they built could be completed in theory, but it also had to be barely even possible to do it all at the same time. Super Stivy Boy asks, what do your real-life friends and family think of Super Mario World hacking? I don't recall much of what my real-life friends and family think about it, but I actually did bring it into the real world with some pretty awesome results. I brought the charm of Super Mario World hacking to college and amazed a few of my colleagues, classmates, with my general skill and got the reaction to, well, this Forbidden City level. These levels look frustrating, because he pretty much hit the nail on the head there. They are frustrating. A job interview, which obviously helped as I landed that internship. It was a small indie games company, so it made sense to show off a Super Mario ROM hack or some general game design related project. I mean, I was really passionate about it. At that same job later on, impressing pretty much everyone else in the room, being a game modder with tremendous skill, particularly this level, the fact that it was slippery? Yes, the second half of Bridge Be Gone used to be slippery. Considering how the level was made up of just a bunch of one block wide platforms that would just quickly get eaten away by chain chomps, and the fact there's just so many enemies in the level, I absolutely did not want to leave it slippery because that would be too hard for most players to handle. So I changed it. Mega Predator 360 asked me on Super Mario Central before I said I'd rather not take PMs on Super Mario Central. I don't go there anymore. What current games do you play? Well, it should be pretty obviously I play Super Mario ROM hacks, but I still need to get this up to speed on these. I mean, I've already got 2 parts of Telementia up. I still have to render a third one, and I definitely want to complete the hack over the next week. I want to get back up to speed on that. I mean, these are still fun to play. Why else am I doing them? Castlevania, either the old school titles or ROM hacks of those titles. As you can see, I've also made plenty of ROM hacks. I'm hoping to make like at least 3 Castlevania 3 ROM hacks. On the occasion, RuneScape, though I'd rather not talk about it too much, I want to lay low. And I don't even care for it that much. I don't make videos on it. I'm not planning to. So it's just sort of like a side hobby. And Magic the Gathering, that too. Though since I don't use Magic the Gathering online, and since I don't know anyone who actually films games of Magic, I really don't talk about it too often. Because I don't really have what I need to make videos on it. In fact, I already have all these cards. Why would I want to get them again? Daisudivan only asked one question, and he asked me, like, what NES games would you like to beat? Mainly for bragging rights. Would I like to beat in the foreseeable future? I honestly never gave this any second thought. I never even really thought of going back to beat NES games just for the sake of beating them. Though out of curiosity, I did go to look at a few lists of the hardest NES games, and just by doing that, it made me feel accomplished. It made me feel like I'm worth something. Considering I've beaten the 2 linear Castlevanias, well, Simon's Quest, mainly the difficulty in that just lies in not knowing what the hell to do, and if you have a walkthrough, then it's super easy. And obviously, there was also the NES Ninja Gaiden trilogy, which I've done. Zelda 2, though I've never recorded that, nor have I recorded the first Mega Man. As impressive as it would look on my channel to have cleared every hardest NES game that people come to a general agreement with, that would mean having to clear Battletoads and Ghosts and Goblins, and then throw in like possibly a dozen more games, and that would just be overkill. Okay, the reloader took time to ask me 3 quick questions through YouTube. Once I said you could start messaging me through there, I'll check my messages. What was your most frustrating moment in Let's Plays? Oh, it's a real toss-up between some of the toughest stages in Jump. Some of them in Yoshi's Strange Quest, and some of them in Hammer Brother Demo 3. However, I'd say that Yoshi's Strange Quest overall ended up being more frustrating than Jump. Even though Jump had some much harder stages in theory. But, like, Hammer Brother Demo 3, like, trumped them both. However, in Yoshi's Strange Quest, there was always the risk of dying just by simply falling because you got knocked back into a pit, no matter how much health you had. And not to mention, some of the later levels had so many spikes, it was like I was playing Yoshi's Island DS all over again. I already talked about Hammer Brother and how bad it was in general. Like the ratchet scrolling, for example, let's say if there's a fork in the road and you pick the wrong path. You can't go back because the screen only ever scrolls right. So your only options are to, well, if you have the option is just jump in a pit and die. If you don't, you just have to wait the timer out. And there's literally nothing you can do about it. You just have to guess or hope you get the right path. And of course, there's also the Super Mario emulator ordeal. Considering how poorly done that was, the fact that an overworld event was broken and I had to go into Lunar Magic and alter the hack just to make the rest of the hack playable from the fortress onward, and the fact that there was a midpoint that didn't work, and the levels were just meaningless and pointless for the most part, and long, I was just so mad that it actually passed moderation on Super Mario Central, and this was during the time where I was actually helping out with the remoderation, just updating the info on old legacy ROM hacks. I mean, had Super Mario Emulator not been accepted back then in 2013, I never would have even known it existed, let alone played it. He also asked me, what's your greatest achievement in Let's Plays? Well, the one that stands out to me most is probably gonna have to be Jump. This was a huge hack that took me 56 videos to play through in its entirety. I got all 125 exits safe stateless. Particularly just clearing one F8. After you spent a good 1 or 2 hours on the hard levels, completing them makes you feel like you've really accomplished something. One F8 took that up to 11. I spent about 5 hours on it. My first attempt clearing it. Even though that hack, like all collab hacks, had a lopsided difficulty curve, especially ASMT, I don't want to go back to that still. It's been like 4 years. With most of the difficulty spikes almost every time Morsel made a level, but the keyword here is still a sense of achievement, and this is a hack I'll always be able to look back to as something I'm proud of having done. Why do you use a keyboard rather than a controller? I was always used to using a keyboard for pretty much every computer game I've ever played, even before 2008, because I didn't know controllers were a thing for computers. I never thought about it before I finally got good at playing Super Mario with hacks back in 2012, and never even considered it, even though it would be a good investment. You can just call the keyboard personal preference, if you will. So yeah, just give me some time to come up with the answer to the rest of the questions I have. I actually got asked 2 more before making this video, just before, so I'm going to have to do that. Plus finishing my last one, because yes, I said part 2 is going to be huge. See ya. Hopefully I see you tomorrow for that.